come and see me live in Nashville, Tennessee on November 15th and 16th as part of DebateCon 6, where I'll be debating Rachel Wilson on what is better for society, feminism, yes or no. I could have done that plug a little bit better, but my words didn't work. Over to James.
Come out and meet and see Craig debate Rachel Wilson on if feminism is more good or bad for society at DebateCon 6 in Nashville, Tennessee this November 15th and 16th. Grab your tickets now at the link in the description box, as we're expecting this event may sell out. You don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets right now so you can meet Craig and see him debate live.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's foolproof.
The FTFE show. Welcome to the FTFE show. Welcome to the FTFE show. Earth thinks that evolution is real. Chemtrails don't exist, vaccines work. Climate change is happening, we landed on the moon. The FTFE show. Welcome to the FTFE show. Welcome to the FTFE show. Spoony's not right.
What's up, Sideshow Nav?
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I am FTFE and welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Kyle Adams is doing to his children's future. Well, his child's future. I'm here today as Angry Craig. Not necessarily FTFE, just a little bit pissed off Craig, because it was made aware to me that Kyle Adams is mentally abusing his child. Yes, I'm going to straight up say it, that Kyle Adams is a child abuser. He is teaching his child flat earth. He is stifling his child's future. He is ruining that child's life. He is vandalizing that child's intellect, to take some words from PhD Tony. And we're going to go over it today. Now, I want to preface this with I am not here attacking Kyle Adams' daughter. Nothing that I say in this show is against Kyle Adams' daughter. Anything that Kyle Adams' daughter says that happens to be stupid is the fault of her father. Everything here that is an insult or a debunk or some expletives coming out is directed at Kyle Adams for being a shitty father. So yeah, we're going to cover that. Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm not angry, you're angry. Harnold says, I'm not sure I can watch this. I already watched the videos on his channel and they made me more sad and upset than anything I have seen in Flat Earth. Yeah. Clive Wells, do I think Kyle's daughter should be removed from the family? Yes. Absolutely. It is clear that Kyle is mentally incapable of raising a child in a sufficient way, giving them a good start in future, a good start in their life. Kyle Adams is harming that child. That shouldn't be allowed. Clive Wells says that that's cruel, that the daughter should be removed. No, what's cruel, Clive, with all due respect, is what he is doing to that child. It's unfortunate that that child loves someone that is abusing them. It's horrible. And we're going to go over it today. But hello everyone in the chat. I hope you're all well. It is Monday, the 29th of September, 2025. 10 years after we should have had flying cars. Where's my flying cars, Elon? And yeah, in the year 2025, there are still people that think the Earth is fucking flat. And we're going to go over that. I've just want to say, if you saw the end of my previous stream, I do apologize for having a little breakdown about my mother. who is very, very ill and not got very long left, and it made me very upset. And also, probably why I'm a bit angry at the world today. Had a bit more bad news today when we found out she also has heart failure. So yeah, woo. Lots of good news. Anyway, on to Kyle Adams abusing his child. Clive Wells says, the damage you're advocating to the kid far outweighs anything Kyle is doing. I disagree. I feel like Kyle's taken away that child's future. Well, I'll tell you what, Kyle. Sorry. I'll tell you what, Clive, okay? At the end of this stream, we'll come back to that question. Maybe taking the child away from them is a bit extreme. But you certainly shouldn't be allowed to teach them. There should be punishments for mentally stifling and abusing your child. I understand your point, Clive. Being removed from a loving family and put into care. Yeah. I don't think that the child should be put into care. But Kyle should not be allowed to educate her in any way, shape, or form. But like I said, Clive, we'll revisit the question at the end of the stream and see how we feel. But we're here today to go over what I absolutely 100% consider child abuse. And I'll say it to anyone that is teaching your child that the earth is flat, that is abuse. Oh goodness, no, we don't need that.
Everyone exactly how old? Hello, Melody. It's been a little while.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to blur the child's face. This is live. It's also already on the internet, so it's very little point in me doing it. If I was to make a full video of this, I would probably blur the child's face during that full video. Clive Wells says, all you need to do is ensure the kid is receiving a proper education and not the authorities should require the kid to attend school. Okay, yeah, all right. But let me retract my statement. No, the kid probably shouldn't be taken away. Kyle is probably a loving father that has given them a safe and, warm house. However, he is ruining their future and setting them up for nothing but failure, which is abuse and should be dealt with.
Since we've last had you on here, remind everyone exactly how old you are.
I am 12 years old. I am in 8th grade now after the summer. And yeah.
Cool. Well, it's really good to have.
Well, she's adorable. She's the same age as my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter. And the thought of my 12-year-old daughter thinking the earth was flat and being taught that makes me feel a little bit angry. Liquid Flames, teaching a child that God exists is a fact. Yeah, I think that is abuse also. Well, okay, Clive, you say that younger creationism is abuse, Christianity is abuse, atheism is abuse. I don't think that atheism could be considered abuse, because atheism is just not believing in a God. And it's also the only kind of one that's not, a lie. Yeah, it's a position I hold that I don't believe in a God, because magic isn't real.
Have you back on here again with us, and I've got a motto, and the motto goes, you can't judge the only cake on the table without another cake.
What does that mean?
All right, so the only cake on the table is the best cake on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the only cake on the table is the best cake on the table. If you want to
You can't. Sorry, did he say you can't judge a cake if it's the only cake? I mean, a chef would know if it was a good cake, right? How can you sit there and say that you can't judge a cake if it's the only cake? If you know what a cake is like, then...
This is not even a cupcake. This is a disgrace. Ah.
Yeah, if there's the only cake there and you know how cakes are supposed to be, then you can judge it. What a stupid motto, Kyle. And your child should be looking at you and thinking, Dad, you're dumb.
This is not even a cupcake. This is a disgrace. Ah.
criticize that cake on the table, you better bring a different cake and say, okay, now we got something to compare, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I can pick up a cake and go, that cake tastes like shit. Put it down. I don't need another cake to know that that cake tastes fucking awful.
Yeah. So that's my philosophy. And I like to...
Well, Kyle, it's a stupid fucking philosophy and you're a stupid person.
To criticize different textbooks out there, right? And so what does that mean?
That means you gotta have more than one textbook.
That means I gotta bring my own cake. And
Yeah.
say, I gotta bring my own cake.
No. That's not how it works with education. You don't get to take what the experts have put together, bring your own book and go, well, this is equivalent and we can compare it. The textbooks are there for you to learn from because they contain information that you need to know. You writing your own textbook that says the earth is a magic flying frisbee should not be put anywhere near a child. Once again, I consider that abuse.
So I'm actually writing my own textbook. Okay? I'm writing my own textbook. And today, I want to hear what you think about it.
Okay.
Tell everyone about it. So this is the cover. And I want you to go ahead and I want you to practice reading it, because one of the things about my textbook is I want it to cover advanced material.
Yeah, well, that's kind of impossible because your textbook is about the flat earth and there is nothing advanced in the flat earth. At all.
But I want it to be simple enough for a child to understand.
Okay.
And so I want you to kind of tell me what you think about it, see how it flows off the tongue, and see how well you understand it.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, what if she answered back? What if she was like, Dad, this is all dumb. Everything in here is stupid. Why are you showing me this? Right? Then what do you think he would do? Do you think he would tell her, no, this is all correct? It's horrific. Jess's Tiger for $5 says, there is advanced derp in flat earth. Yeah, advanced for flat earthers, that is, you know. And thank you very much for the support, Jess's Tiger. Guys, support the channel. You can do that by liking the stream, sharing the stream, writing the URL on a brick, throwing that brick through your neighbor's window, things like that. Sharing the stream is the thing that really, really is going to help. You can also support the stream by doing what JSS Tiger just did and super chat or gift a membership, become a member if you're not already. Super chats really, really help because they allow me to do this full time and fight through the horrific mental health issues that I've been dealing with the knowledge that I'm secure and able to keep doing this despite struggling every single day. So thank you very much for your support. You've no idea how much it means. Super chat away whilst I rip apart this fucking idiocy.
So here's page 1. Page 1. What is science? Go ahead.
Eric says, I prefer direct donation using PayPal. Of course, you can do that. PayPal.me/FTFE. And thank you very much in advance.
Go ahead and read that for us.
What is science? Most words in the English dictionary have multiple definitions, and the word science is no exception to that. With that being so, exactly what qualifies as science has been a thing of controversy.
Controversy.
So what does that mean?
Why can't his 12-year-old read the word controversy? I mean, I don't know if this is just judging by the standards that I have, but I know my daughter would be able to read that word and have no problem with it. Is that the British education system being better than American? Or is it because that child's homeschooled? I'm pretty sure a 12-year-old should be able to read the word controversy. It's not even that hard of a word. Poor girl. I mean, again, I'm not attacking her. I feel sorry for her. Yeah, all right. Clive Wells. Okay, yeah. I retract my statement that I think they should be taking away. However, I do think there should be authority involvement in some way. Because this is abuse. Straight away, he's teaching her that there's controversy over what science is. Well, no, not really. Not amongst all the experts. Every single expert in the world agrees on what science is. Rubik's $2 says, watching this while playing D&D. Shh. I'll allow it. In fact, how dare you play D&D? How are you playing D&D in the basement? One sec. Rubik's, what are you doing? How did you get all them down there? Wait, you lot, out. No, you can take the dice with you. No, leave the snacks. No, not for Rubik's. Bring them up here. Alright, out you go. Alright. Next time you want to play D&D in my house, let me know.
Controversy means a highly debated topic.
Okay.
Something that is argued over a lot.
Okay. Over the years...
The definition of science is only argued with by you flat earthers because you don't know what science is, so you try to change the definition of science. StealthGun5, who's been a member for 18 months, says, hide your kids, hide your wife.
Some people claiming one subject to be science and another subject to be pseudoscience or false science. To deem something as pseudoscience is a form of attack to try and dissuade people from believing in a given subject.
I mean, that's just false. Pseudoscience is a very specific thing. It's science that is mistakenly based. It thinks it's based on the scientific method when it's really, really not. So we don't attack someone as well. That's actually what it's ironic here because that is what flat earthers do. All the flat earthers will, as soon as you start mentioning gravity or something, they'll be like, no, gravity, that's pseudoscience. To try and discredit it. So it's actually very interesting because that is what flat earthers do. But we wouldn't do that as people that understand science. We would just say, well, it might be pseudoscience because of these reasons. You think you're based on the scientific method, but you're actually wrong. It's a bit of poison in the well maybe from his side about what's going on. I'm not sure there what he's trying to pull.
often for personal or political reasons. However, it is important to keep in mind that the key word in each of the different definitions of science is knowledge, and people can have incorrect knowledge concerning things. Therefore, even if something is wrong, it can still be considered science. While science is not defined as truth, the practice of science can be described as the effort to gain experience and familiarize oneself with truth, or rather, can be described as the pursuit of truth. Scientists, whether paid or unpaid, are seekers of truth.
No, that's not really what... Science is the systematic study of the natural world by experimentation and observation. That's what science is. When we're talking about the natural world, that's what science is. Now, here's the thing. Yes, there's many definitions of science, but definitions are linked to context, right? And the context that we all use science in is like about natural science. And that is the systematic study of the world via observation and experimentation. And mathematical modeling. Yeah, this isn't, yes, there's other definitions of science within different industries and different contexts, but in the context that we all talk about science here, we all know what it is, and it's not what he just said. So straight away, he's just presenting this textbook as the truth to her. This is what it is.
What did you think of that so far?
What do you mean? Like, what part? Do you think it was like...
Was it understandable? I used some big language there. Political. Do you know what political means?
Think?
Political means stuff that has to do with the government. A lot of things that you might vote on.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about the idea of science being something that's not true?
The idea of science that isn't true?
Right. Of course, science, you can do science and it not be true. I.e., you can, form a hypothesis and that isn't actually correct and can be easily falsified. So that hypothesis isn't true, it's falsifiable. And just, because the hypothesis was incorrect doesn't mean you didn't do science. But I don't think that's what Kyle is implying. Science Minded for $9.99 says, FTFE, can I drop you a simple one-page PNG file for you to share at any time? It's Globe Fold, a 6 airport foldable model on one sheet. Thanks. Yeah, sure. Do me a favor, drop it in my Discord, buddy. So, Clive, yeah, I was wrong about. I shouldn't have said that she should be removed from the family. But what do you think is appropriate consequences? Because I am a big believer in consequences for actions, right? Which is why when I attacked my neighbor for trying to break into my home and stealing my wife's bike and stuff, I had consequences to my actions by getting a fine and a criminal record. But what Kyle's doing here, I think, is far worse than what I did. Yeah, I was violent. But what he's doing here is arguably worse than physical violence. Poisoning that child's brain. So what do you think there should be an appropriate consequence for the actions that Kyle's performing here? Whenever you guys send a super chat, you change the colour of the lights behind me. And I've normally got my phone with me to press a button to turn it off. But I can't find my phone. So you can make the colours whatever you want, and I can't do anything about it.
Something can still be considered science, even if it's not true.
Oh. Trying to think about that, because it's sort of confusing. Like, what do you mean by that, though? Like, if they do a science experiment and it happens with a science chemical reaction, and it's still, like, if they explain it wrong, or what do you mean?
I remember a long time ago in history, we studied...
Hey, Max, how are we doing?
William Harvey, that was in the K-12 program, and about how William Harvey discovered that the heart was a pump. And all of the scientists before him all did not believe that the heart was a pump. They just thought your blood just sat there in your body. It wasn't circulating or anything like that.
But Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind told me that the heart's not a pump. Your lungs are the pump. Which is why you still have a pulse when you hold your breath. Wait, hold on. I've lost my... Where's my mouse? There it is. So what do you guys all think of my my new ring? I found it in a meteor outside. It was weird. It like fire came in the sky and the meteor crashed outside, and then you know, I just went outside and this was in the meteor. So I picked it up, put it on, and fuck all happened. I'm really disappointed. No superpowers. Annoying. Yeah, Clive Wells. The authorities need to check that his homeschooling conforms to legal requirements. If not, the kid should be required to attend school. If he refuses, what then? Stephen says it's difficult to see. Cowder, get the fuck out. We all know what colour it is. Jeff C says, I need to buy the monthly subscription to get the ring to work. Jay says, Tiger, $5. Kyle needs to be sentenced to reading Newton's Principle from front to back.
And so...
Wouldn't you get like blood clots or something?
Yeah, it was a weird time. A lot of people had different notions and beliefs about blood.
So if blood was like that, what did they expect when you got a cut and
It was
started
just
bleeding?
falling out. It was just falling
Did you
out.
get it back?
That was something that we learned about in your elementary class doing the K-12 program.
Really?
Yeah, William Harvey, and that was one that always stuck out to me really strongly.
Wait, so it wasn't long ago when they believed that it started to pump?
I think it was in the 1800s. I don't remember the exact
so that
date.
is long ago.
Okay.
William Harvey. For a long, long time, everyone knew that your body was made up of 4 fluids called humors. Blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. People thought of these fluids the same way some people today think about genetics. A handy explanation for, like, everything. So, say you had a bad temper. That meant you had tons of yellow bile inside. But if you were all detached and unemotional, your body was probably full of phlegm. Galen grabbed this idea and ran with it, coming up with lots of medical treatments, mostly involving cutting people open and letting their blood drain out. His medical books were so popular...
Yeah, we don't need to watch that. Yeah. Oh, great, yeah, they didn't used to think the heart was a pump. And some idiots still think that. An idiot that is a flat earther, just like this guy. All right, Charles Arnold says, Craig, if a judge orders it in the US, there could be consequences. I once had a judge take away my student's mother's driver's license. Clive Wells says he refuses. He should be fined until he complies. Okay, cool. What if he doesn't pay the fine? Because he doesn't agree with it. And he just keeps going, no, no, no. What happens? At what point is it appropriate to say, well, you can't have this child then? You know, he keeps refusing to pay the fine. So he ends up going in debt. And can he go to jail for that? And if he goes to jail, then is that not the same as the child being taken away? Again, I'm not advocating for the children to be taken away. Maybe from Nathan Oakley, because he actually beats his children. But, you know, at what point do you be like, okay, you're not suitable to be a dad?
Blood travels in a circle from the heart, through the arteries, into the veins, and then back into the heart.
Yeah, William Harvey. And so even though they had incorrect information, they were still putting the puzzle pieces together. And eventually William Harvey was the one who discovered, oh, look at that. The heart is a pump circulating your blood and all this other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So just because they had incorrect information doesn't mean it never got corrected in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so it's just knowledge is the key thing here. And you can have incorrect knowledge, but you're still trying to put the pieces together and get more correct knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you like only found like 5 sentences.
Thank you, Science Minded. I will check it out.
In a big paragraph, and you put them together and thought that the cat was blue because you read those 5 words. Like, it says so, but like, it's not true.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Smart girl, yeah. Just like, you read something that says the Earth is flat. It's not true just because it says so. The problem is that your dad's a bit of a fucking idiot. And again, I want to reiterate for any Dick Waynes out there, I am not attacking this young lady. I feel sorry for her. As a father with a daughter the same age, I feel angry and upset about the damage to this girl's intellect being done by her father.
big things there, but this is one of those huge. This is a very controversial topic right here. That's exactly what is science. Like, a lot of people will argue about that night and day. Right now, let's go ahead and read this. Consider this.
Okay, consider this. In college, a person can earn a degree of science in various fields such as political science, the humanities, history, and art. Knowing the definitions of science, why would those fields of study be considered science? And then it shows the definition.
Or science is, yeah. Art.
Why would those fields of study considered be in history. No, was it history? Yeah, it was history. No, it was art. It was art. Yeah, they were actually talking about this exact thing.
Really?
Yeah, and they were saying there's actually a lot of science in art. I just can't remember what they were saying, but I remember them bringing it up.
Okay. I could think of a couple different ways science is.
I mean, he's just muddying some waters here that don't need to be muddied. You don't need... This is what flat earthers do. When you ask them to come to debate, they bring a bunch of paragraphs about what the definition of science is. That's not important. Trying to redefine science for your purposes doesn't change anything. Max says, did I get an email from Modern Day Debate? No, I did not. About what? I mean, I do have a lot of emails from Modern Day Debates.
It's very much applied in art, such as when it comes to...
Yeah, Max, I'm down. Hey, Leodus, how you doing, my friend? Leodus says that just come around to support FTFE with thumbs up, but let's be clear, this is kind parental malpractice. Best part of this is the time she can't help but correct her dad. Oh, really? Does that happen? 1 over and squared says, what fraction of your super chat revenue goes towards your Fred Perry wardrobe? I mean, the super chats do pay for my Fred Perry, but I am very smart with my shopping. I get everything that's like end of line. So this t-shirt, for instance, is I think normally £65. However, because it was the last one on the line, only one left in medium, I got it for £18.
There's some chemistry involved in ceramics when you've got to get your clay at just the right baking point and being able to get the glazes just right. There's a lot of chemistry in the glaze work when it comes to doing ceramics, or even just mixing your paint and things like that. However, it's not quite it. That's not everything there. Okay, so this whole focus here is on we've got our different definitions. Systematic knowledge of the physical or material world gained through observation and experimentation. Okay, so it's just systematic just means organized. Okay, organized knowledge. And so when it comes to...
Wait, so now he's saying what I said it was.
Is on this whole focus here, we've got our different definitions. Systematic knowledge of the physical or material world gained through observation and experimentation. Okay, so it's just systematic just means organized. Okay, organized knowledge. And so when it comes to art, there's a science in it when it comes to studying maybe how one artist takes an idea and it's called iconography. Okay, iconography is very much a science where you have one character or an idea and then you watch other people copy that same symbol or idea over and over again in different places. And so one of the really famous ones...
The one with the swirly, sky?
Van Gogh, yeah.
The fuck is he talking about? What is any of this to do with science?
Van Gogh is a very influential artist, and a lot of people, because he's so influential, they copy him. That's what makes him influential.
I've seen a Batman one before.
The Batman version of Starry Night. Yeah, that's a really good example.
I love that.
So, systematized.
Okay, to be fair,
The Batman.
I have. I don't think it's quite that one, but I have a Batman Starry Night in my kitchen. Is it this one? No, which one is it? I don't even see it. Yeah. This is the one I've got hanging in my kitchen. Because I'm a fucking nerd. Did you not tell I'm a nerd by the Green Lantern ring?
Version of Starry Night. Yeah, that's a really good example. Okay, so systematized.
Yeah, but I don't think iconography is history, though, is it? Science, is it? Sorry, it's history, right? Iconography is not science; it is history. Mr. U4 the Chillwind says, fun fact, little Kyle here once wrote and sang a song in front of his church. The church elders were not amused and forced him to take it down, so he wouldn't be seen to support his stupidity. Can you send me any information on that, please?
Knowledge. This is page 2.
Systematized knowledge. Imagine going to a library where all the books are scattered all over the place in random order, making it very difficult for anyone to find something they were looking for. How useful would that library be? How information is organized makes a difference. Wisdom, well, from Charles Spurgeon, right?
Charles Spurgeon, that's his name.
Charles Spurgeon. Wisdom is the right use of knowledge. To know is not to be wise. Many men know a great deal and are all the greater fools for it. There's no fool so great a fool as a knowing fool. But to know how to use knowledge is to have wisdom.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that things are organized on shelves, dude. Right, you've misunderstood what that means. So, for instance, Einstein, if you asked him for an equation, he'd be like, I do not know this equation. I look in the book and find it. Well, why don't you know the equation off by heart, Albert? It's important that I know how to apply the equations. That is it. That was my terrible German accent, by the way. So Einstein didn't store a bunch of numbers in his head, and a bunch of useless information. He knew how to do maths and physics and how to apply the things. So if he needed to find a figure of a particular thing, instead of storing that useless information in his head, he'd go and look it up in a book. So this phrase isn't about going to a library where it's all organized. This phrase is about knowing how to apply information that you have. All right, 1 out of 10, between 1 and 10 for my Einstein impression, guys. 1 for don't ever do that again, Craig. 10 for is Albert here?
System isn't just having information. It is knowing how to use it. A system is a way of organizing information. For example, you might have heard of Dewey Decimal System. I can't talk. That libraries often use when it comes to organizing books. Organization helps us recognize patterns in information, which in turning helps us to see the bigger picture and recognize ways to put the information to use.
How's that? There's a few things that you had a hard time. That didn't quite flow off the tongue as well as we'd hoped. But does it put the picture in your mind? Are you able to clearly understand it?
No, it's just some words, dude. It didn't mean anything. None of that is important. It doesn't need to be in a textbook. You're wasting your time and your daughter's time. Stop it. Oh, Clive Wells said that I sounded nothing like Einstein. Well, how do you know I'm not Einstein? Huh? How do you know I didn't go back in time and become Einstein? You do not. I could be Einstein. I really shouldn't do accents.
Anything you don't understand about it?
I get that one and I get that one. I don't get that one though.
Okay, the third one. Wisdom isn't just having information. It is knowing how to use it. A system is a way of organizing information. For example, you might have heard of the Dewey Decimal System that libraries often use when it comes to
kind of a run-on sentence there, to be fair. He could have just, like, gone from the first part to the Dewey Decimal System is a way to organize information. There is... it's very badly put together. Crashes, $5 says, just remember, chat, it's smarter to have pineapple on your pizza than to listen to Kyle attempt to teach literally anything. Keep up the good fight, FTFE. Thank you very much, my friend. I very much appreciate the support.
Organizing books. You might be right. I might need a comma. Organization helps us to... You might be right. I might need a comma. Comes to organizing books. You might be right. I might need a comma.
Dad, you should put a comma in your fucking stupid book. Good girl. My hope here is that she's smart enough to know her dad's an idiot and not take what he says in any way, shape, or form seriously. Because her dad's a flat earther, and flat earthers say things like this.
Honestly, this is what I believe. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a flat earther. Either A, he knows it, B, he doesn't know it.
Those are the two options.
Here's what I know, is that he is backing away from, he's beginning to back away from the shit we could just set his ass on fire about. Because he doesn't want to go up against an Eric Duvay or a Bro Sanchez or a Blacklight or anybody like that. He doesn't want to go up against them because now you're going to have to compare oranges to our oranges.
Why are your oranges different?
Organization helps us to recognize patterns in information, which in turn, helps us to see the bigger picture and recognize ways to put the information to use. So, okay. The difference between knowledge and wisdom here, okay? You can have all this information up here, but if you don't know how to use it, it fails. That's where you have the disconnect from wisdom. And so that's why it's so important to organize knowledge so we can easily access it and just think about that whole puzzle box that is not put together yet, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's chaotic. You don't see the big picture. But the moment you put the puzzle pieces together, now I see the big picture. And that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is just having a whole bunch of chaotic puzzle pieces all over the place. Wisdom is actually putting the puzzle pieces together and seeing the big picture.
Okay.
No, it's just that's not wisdom. Wisdom is knowing why knowledge applies to the world. You can have all the knowledge you want, but wisdom comes from doing things with that knowledge, applying it to the real world. Like, this is all completely pointless. Why are you... It is just like a flat earther coming to a debate.
That makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is so good for me to be able to just go over this because I can write the stuff in there if I need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's, I think, it's page 3.
Okay. Strong foundations. The wise man built his house upon a rock, from Matthew 7:24. The Bible uses the...
Right, I'm not going to bash on religion here. You all know my thoughts are on Magic Sky Daddy. But Kyle's writing a science textbook, he says here. All right? The Flat Earth science textbook. Why would you be putting religious quotations in a science textbook? It doesn't matter. Just get on with the science.
The imagery of a wise man building his house upon a rock as compares to sand as a symbol of strength and sureness. Sureness. A faulty foundation is one that crumbles and falls apart. The sturdy foundation is a symbol of truth. While people's knowledge concerning things is not always right, the goal is to make our foundations as strong as possible, striving to understand the best of our ability. We can do this by building on a foundation of axioms, self-evident truths that require no proof. These are basic, plain, and observable facts, like how many fingers you have on your hand.
Right, yeah, axioms are kind of important, right? But what if your axiom's wrong? What if you have one of your self-evident truths as the Earth measures flat? Then you're building a foundation on shit. It doesn't matter if you think something is true and you can claim it's true and requires no proof all you want. If it's not true, then it's not going to be able to have anything built upon it. Stephen Cook says this is what I should do to him. I think we need to watch that in slow motion. Oh, I wish my knee bent like that. Thank you, Stephen.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Building a strong foundation is building on axioms. It's a word that is really popular, I'm finding. I'm noticing it in more and more places. The moment you start to recognize the word, it's everywhere. It's weird. But
yeah, it's because you're probably searching for it, dude.
I first learned this word from Alexander Gleason. I was reading his book, and yeah, he used the word axioms.
I recognize that name.
Oh yeah, you were reading a flat earther's book. Brilliant.
He's really famous for his flat Earth map, the Gleason map.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second.
He wrote this great big thick book that is really hard to chew on. And one of the very first things he talked about in his book was axioms, and I just really liked that. It was very influential for me. Okay, so let's talk about academic pitfalls.
Well, just again to finish that. You can call them axioms, self-evident truths that require no proof, all you want. But if you're wrong, then it's a foundation made of fuck all.
Okay. Academic pitfalls. The opposite of building on a strong foundation is building on a pitfall, a lightly covered hole in the ground that is used for catching people or animals. People walk on them, thinking that they are solid ground, and then fall through when covered in when then covering is...
Sorry.
Huh? Oh.
Okay, so people walk on them, thinking they are on solid ground, and then fall through when the covering is unable to support their weight.
Okay. Academic pitfalls are claims that have no observations to back them up. If someone makes a claim like the sun is on average 93 million miles away and provides nothing to back up the claim, that qualifies as an academic pitfall because the claim lacks a foundation.
Right, so literally trying to poison the well of the heliocentric model by characterizing something like the sun being 93 million miles away as a claim that has nothing to back it up. It's very dishonest.
It is important to remember that math formulas can also qualify as academic pitfalls. Math formulas require observations to verify them and show that they accurately describe reality. Just because the math looks right, 2 times 2 equals 4, a person can't just slap that on any claim they want and act like it proves something.
What? 2 times 2 is 4. This is just a mathematical proof. You've got that all fucking backwards. That is the proof. Maths is how we define proof in science. He's just forcing his stupidity down his daughter's throat. And it's quite... bleh.
Be in the habit of continually checking the ground you walk on by asking, what is that claim founded on? What makes you think that? And how do you know that is true?
So I've got an example here. Just because 2 times 2 equals 4, that doesn't mean a yardstick is 4 feet long. that goes over a lot of people's heads, and they're like, "What in the world are you talking about?"
Yes, Kyle. But if I have two yardsticks, then I have 4 yards. Because 2 times 2 is 4. You fucking idiot.
Did this help at all in just saying you can't just slap 2 times 2 equals 4 on any old claim you want and say prove something?
Yeah.
Is it, are you kind of getting the idea that I'm talking about
Yeah,
here?
because like, oh yeah, like if they're saying how hot is the sun, and you're like, okay, so I know everything, I know math and everything. So the perfect equation for knowing how hot the sun is, first you measure like the diameter of the sun times 2400, and then you minus off the heat of the sun, and the equator equals like the heat. Like,
Yeah, it's just,
there
you got
like-
this big, you can have this big, long, extensive formula.
then you stand there like,
People get math blind.
and then you're like,
Yeah, but you just make sure that the variables have information that is verified. You don't just make shit up. Oh, I'm getting angry. I don't like it. Eric Burns says, I hope she'll realise her dad is dumb. I do as well. Poor girl, man.
who measured the sun?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
People literally go math blind and say, "Oh, that looks fancy."
We sent a probe there. The Parker Soda probe. Still quite close, actually.
Must be right.
Yes.
The appeal to complexity. That's what it's called.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is something that has been my biggest criticism throughout so many different textbooks that I've read over the years. And so that's something that I really strive to do with this book, doing it different, is really do everything I can to avoid any kind of academic pitfalls. And one of the really cool things about this book is how many textbooks do you have contact the author if there's something you have to say. You don't like the way this is written? Here's a way to contact the author and talk about it.
It's like trying to email the rice milk number on the container if it's moldy or something.
You can do that sometimes, right? Or let's go take it back to the store and say, "Hey, what's up?"
Tried to prank call the rice milk.
Oh, really? You actually did that?
I tried.
Okay.
It always just sends me to like that robot person.
Oh, of course they did. Okay, so this goes right in hand with the whole 2 times 2 equals 4 thing and backing up your claims. This one is scientific models.
Scientific models. In art, people often refer to the person being painted as a model. But in science, your model is what you have on canvas. It is your painting itself. A scientific model is a description of something. These descriptions can take various forms such as drawings, calculations, or even just words alone.
No, that's not what a scientific model is. A scientific model is something that makes predictions. It's very well defined. You use a model to predict something happening. And that's kind of it. And it makes accurate predictions, then, for that particular thing, it's an accurate model. No models we have are 100% accurate. They're all, no model's accurate, but some are useful. You can, PhD Tony can model seismic waves on a local flat Earth. Because over a small scale, you can make predictions that are accurate if you consider the Earth to be flat. But when it gets larger, you can't. Oh, fuck. That's so... Clive Wells says, Culture Cats accidentally deleted Kyle's message board twice. Well, how did he do that?
Accuracy of the model depends on how well it describes something. With that, it is important to acknowledge the math itself isn't a foundation stone, but rather, math is a model that describes things. If someone were to say 2 times 2 equals 4, therefore a yardstick is 4 feet long, that model would be an inaccurate way of describing a yardstick, since yardsticks are 3 feet long. Just like painting, math is something that needs to be verified by comparing it with reality.
I break that down. Math is a model that describes things. No, it's not. Math is the language of science. It's how we define proof in science. Oh, apparently his board lets anyone just delete it. Well, guys, go and delete his board right now for me, please. Right. So math is a model. No, it's not. A math will tell you, you can use math to make predictions within a model. Math is not a model. Yeah, then the model would be an accurate way of describing a yardstick, since yardsticks are 3 feet long. Yeah, but you can have two yardsticks and put them together and have a 4 yardstick. This is so wrong.
Is a model that describes things. If someone were to say 2 times 2 equals 4, therefore a yardstick is 4 feet long, that model would be an inaccurate way of describing a yardstick, since yardsticks are 3 feet long. Just like painting, math is something that needs to be verified by comparing it with reality.
So with this, kind of going back with William Harvey found a better way to describe.
1 over and squared said, did Faraday use math to do physics? Yes, because maths is the language of science. Maths is not a model. Oh my goodness me. Oh yeah, of course, there is such thing as a mathematical model. You know, we model things with maths. But maths, it isn't a model.
The way blood works in your body, the heart.
Yeah.
But the guy before him, Galen, I think that was his name, Galen, he did not describe the body very well. So we can kind of describe this in art terms where like one person is doing like stick figures of a body and another person is doing a much more detailed picture. And so I think it's really important to kind of keep that in mind, that science and art here, that's a direct description. It's just observing reality, observing the world around us. That's kind of right in there in earth science. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
I think you explained it pretty well.
Okay.
No, he didn't. Sorry, darling, but no, he didn't explain anything well. I can paraphrase what he said. Derp. Derp, derpy, derp, 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 derp. Derpy, derp, 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 derp. Derp, 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 derpy, derp, derp. Derp, 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 derp. 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 There we go. That was basically what he said, except I was more eloquent. Yeah, Rudolph, by the way, lungs are the pump, not the heart, said some Flerf recently. Chong, I think. Let's test that, shall we? I'm going to go... Hold my breath. Still got a pulse.
Earth science. Earth science is a broad field of study that covers multiple subjects. In colleges and universities, you typically don't see specific classes referred to as earth science, but instead, you'll find individual classes focusing on the individual subcategories of earth science. Nonetheless, each of these subcategories affect each other, wherein it is important to take the time to observe the big picture.
What do you think of the little conspiracy board? It's just starting there in the top.
Yeah, I think it's cool, and it helps you see that they're not all just their own thing. They're connected to the bigger thing, earth science, like astronomy.
Yeah, but it's the way he's pinned them as conspiracies. He's so proud of his arts and crafts project, isn't he, guys? Bless his heart. He's like, look, daughter, I gotta show you this. Sir Little Wolf, I'm sorry you've got a pulled shoulder muscle. That sucks. I've hurt my good shoulder at the moment from the gym. I'm not even sure how. I don't know, maybe just be some repetitive strain injury. I'm not sure. It's quite sore at certain movements, like around here. Oh.
Geology, oceanography, and then meteorology. Sure.
Yeah. The big deal is about seeing the bigger picture here. We keep talking about this, putting puzzle pieces together. And I like this nod to making conspiracy boards, which are there to help people see the big picture.
Yeah.
I feel like way too often people get too compartmentalized, and especially in college, all they do is focus on one aspect of people get too compartmentalized, and especially I feel like way too often people get too compartmentalized, and I feel like way too often people get too compartmentalized.
Compartmentalized, guys. Oh my god. Compartmentalization, guy, yo.
All they do is focus on one aspect of things, and if all you're focusing on is astronomy, then you end up forgetting things about geology, and that ends up changing your view of things, and vice versa.
1 over and squared says it's been N minutes since you promoted the Christian nationalist debate in Nashville. Number one, it's been about 61 minutes. Number two, I'm not doing a Christian nationalist debate. I'm debating on whether feminism is good or bad for society. So there's that. But since you mentioned it,
that's right. Come out and meet and see Craig debate Rachel Wilson on if feminism is more good or bad for society at DebateCon 6 in Nashville, Tennessee this November 15th and 16th. Grab your tickets now at the link in the description box, as we're expecting this event may sell out. You don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets right now so you can meet Craig and see him debate live.
yeah, come out and see me at DebateCon 6 in Nashville, Tennessee. NA $6.66 says, "Oh, Craig, you have a good shoulder? Wow, that's great, man. It was good. Well, not so much now."
So there's a lot of overlapping principles that apply. How one thing can very much affect another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to compartmentalization it, guys. Yeah, don't want to compartmentalization. Don't want to do that.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, really.
Okay, we can go on.
Why it matters. Earth science is a highly controversial topic. It is a big deal in both politics and religion. Did the biblical flood actually happen? Is the world currently in a state of climate crisis? Has man actually been to the moon? Those are all Earth science questions. World governments spend extreme amounts of money in departments related to Earth science. According to Space.com, NASA's budget for the year 2025 alone was $25.4 billion. With so much money, it becomes a really big deal as to whether they're telling the truth or not. The more you know, the harder it is to deceive you. Knowledge is your weapon against lies.
Yeah, with so much money, I'm pretty sure the interest on America's national debt was more than what they gave to NASA. And that is a tiny proportion of the federal budget compared to what they used to have. Most of the federal budget is going on funding golf trips for President Trump. Once again, President Trump, I'm due to come to America in November. So, I just want you to know that I'm a staunch supporter of your policies. I completely agree. Paracetamol causes autism. You should inject bleach. You can sort out wildfires by raking the place. And you definitely do not have a small penis. Please let me into your country.
Okay. I really like the way this picture looks. And for me, this really emphasizes what really got me interested in earth science. When I was going to college...
Still more stick in the Bible in it, I see. NA $6.66 says, "Both of mine are shit. Oh, I'm older than you, bud." Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah. It's just evidence that God didn't create us? Because if he did, why do our bodies start falling apart once we hit like 35? Like, seriously? What is wrong with it? I have to get up to pee like 5 times a night. Sometimes I get up and pee, by the time I'm back in bed I need to go again. Stupid fucking body. Hey guys, tomorrow I'm going to do a community stream. Come and hang out on Discord, have some fun. We'll do some random debunks. We'll have some chats. I'd like as many people as possible to come and join and have some fun. Everyone is invited. Not you, Gary. No, not you, No. No, the door says no Garys. It's not my policy. You know. But yeah, if you want to come and just hang out on Discord and do some debunks and maybe just make fun of FTFE or something, then feel free. We'll be in Discord from tomorrow. Tomorrow from about 10:30 in the evening UK time. Going live on YouTube at about 11 o'clock. So if you are unsure about everything, then just contact Rubik's because they organize everything for me now.
And even in high school, I just looked and said rocks and gravel. I didn't really see the big picture yet. Yeah. I didn't see how important it was. And the way textbooks even write, why is this important? Well, you just might be digging a well someday, and this might be important for finding oil or rare minerals or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you have a job in mining, it's going to be important for you to know. Okay, well, I don't really want to be a miner.
That's why I fell at school.
So why is this important to me is the question. And so the way this is written out, it's about how earth science isn't just for people who want to look for fossils or something like that, you know what I mean? Or find water. It's not specifically there for people who are looking for a career in earth science, but it
helps open it up to like everybody, so then they don't just have to work on it or be an astronaut when they're older or whatever they want to do, but like it helps them see what things are actually going for.
Yeah, but maybe science shouldn't be open to everyone because people like Kyle just don't fucking get it.
Like what's actually happening. And
it's a pretty big deal when you really get into it. Just kind of looking at, just NASA's money here. We talked about the budget, but when it comes to religion, it's like huge. Kind of the whole matter of the fight is real between religion and the government, and trying to the atheist agenda and all that kind of going in there. There's a very real agenda there to fight it in our public schools, and I feel like when we study earth science, our eyes become very open to it, and we can see it.
What are you saying about schools there?
And the government and trying to the atheist agenda and all that kind of going in there. There's a whole just NASA's money here. We talked about the budget, but when it comes to religion, it's like huge. Kind of the whole matter of the fight is real between religion and the government, and trying to the atheist agenda and all that kind of going in there. There's a very real agenda there to fight it in our public schools. And
yeah, you shouldn't have religion in school. School should, by definition, be atheist. The belief of God should not be in schools. It's not a place for belief. And you shouldn't be fighting to have it in schools. But there's also no atheist agenda. We just want fucking sanity. Grow the fuck up. We grew out of imaginary friends. Well, some of us did. One over and squared said, do you agree that people that homeschool their kids are odd? Not all the time, no. There is legitimate reasons to homeschool your child. I had to homeschool my son for about 6 months whilst we were in temporary accommodation. And because of his ADHD and autism, he couldn't just go to a temporary school. So I homeschooled my son for a while. Although I am pretty fucking odd, to be fair. Yeah, definitely odd. But no, not always. Kyle is definitely fucking odd. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like when we study earth science, our eyes become very open to it, and we can see it. Any other thoughts?
It's just crazy how much money they spend in Just want to know what they're actually using it for.
Yeah. What are they actually?
What NASA, but to explore space, to figure out what happens to the human body in space, to pay Elon Musk for his contract and stuff. See, here's the problem. He's clearly indoctrinated his daughter into thinking that NASA are lying about what they're using their money for.
Using it for.
And it'd be cool to like measure how much money like each person actually spends, like just in tax and stuff, like every time they have to spend money.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to do an audit sometime to see exactly where all the money goes. I've heard of NASA spending tons and tons of money on coffee cups before.
Coffee cups.
Well, let's see. How many employees NASA have, right? So NASA's got about 18,000 employees. Now let's say that one coffee cup between two people. 9,000 people need 9,000 coffee cups. So I mean, I can see a semi-decent one for $5.96. Right, so NASA would, so if NASA wanted to have it so that half of the employees had coffee cups, there's one coffee cup between two people, you can share, don't drink coffee at the same time, that would still cost NASA $53,640, right? So yes, I'm sure there has been a time when NASA spent a lot of money on coffee cups because they've got a lot of employees that need to drink coffee. So I don't see that as a problem. I need fucking coffee. I can't do anything in the morning without coffee. And the blood of my enemies and tears of Flerfs.
Yeah.
For what?
That was it. It just said coffee cups, and yeah, they're spending like $100,000 on coffee cups, and it was weird.
It's like
right, 100,000. So that means that they basically each person has got one coffee cup, right? They bought each employee at NASA a coffee cup that cost about $5-6. And
congratulations for working on NASA for 20 years. Everybody gets a free coffee cup. Here you go, here you go, here you
Yeah,
go.
but like really expensive coffee cup. I don't know. It's really weird stuff. But yeah, let's move on.
no, $6. If it's $100,000 they spent on coffee cups, each coffee cup costs about $6. Who fucking cares? Yes, Eric, this video is showing Kyle and his daughter bonding. Bonding over lies and stupidity. He's obviously indoctrinated her into NASA bad.
Okay.
Let's go hand in hand with the other one.
Conspiracy fact. Sometimes people turn their nose up at the thought of a conspiracy and think of conspiracy theorists as crazy people. However, keep in mind, a conspiracy is defined as an unlawful, harmful, or evil plan formulated by two or more persons. Plot. By that definition, every police officer should believe in conspiracies, since every bank robbery that consists of a team of two or...
You notice how at the beginning of this he made such an issue about how there being multiple definitions of words. Do you think there's more than one definition of conspiracy? I do. I think there's a definition of conspiracy that would mean a vague idea of untruths or something like that. Cherry picking the one he wants right now, isn't he?
more individuals qualifies as a conspiracy. Conspiracies are real. Imagine if every police officer thought it was impossible for criminals to work in groups of two or more. Bad guys get caught because of good conspiracy theorists. our personal and national security depend on the acknowledgement that conspiracies can and do take place.
Yeah. So we've got conspiracy theory and conspiracy fact.
Yeah.
You kind of understand the difference between the two?
Yeah, conspiracy fact is like what we already know is true and it is happening. Conspiracy theory is where they find some
Evidence.
Yeah, evidence that like fingerprints or that they just found something and they're like, it might be happening, but we don't have enough.
Yeah, but obviously conspiracies are real. Like everyone in chat saying, conspiracy is not the same as conspiracy theory. So, yeah.
Proof to make it a fact that they're doing it.
There's a reason for suspicion.
Yeah.
And so with this one, I always think of the astronauts who died on the Challenger expedition. Like there's this big explosion.
Oh my fucking god. Oh.
Found something and they're like, it might be happening, but we don't have enough proof to make it a fact that they're doing it.
There's a reason for suspicion.
Yeah.
And so with this one, I always think of the astronauts who died on the Challenger expedition. Like there's this big explosion and all these astronauts died on the Challenger shuttle, right? And all of a sudden, a lot of them have like twin brothers who look identical to them and even go by the same name. And it's just like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen. They have siblings that look similar. But you have just told your daughter that the death of people didn't happen. You are disgusting, Kyle. That is a horrific, horrible thing to say. You are a fucking piece of shit. Sitting there and acting like that in front of your daughter, making your daughter think that a tragedy that killed innocent civilians didn't actually happen. You're akin to someone denying the marathon bombing or people being assassinated. You are a horrific piece of shit. Oh my god, that's made me actually fucking angry. Hey Tony, how you doing?
It's really weird.
I feel like they'd be smarter than that and like hide it up a little more than just, oh yeah, my name is Johnny. Aren't you the one astronaut that died? He's like, no, I'm a different Johnny. He's my brother.
None of them are going by the same name as the astronaut that died. But of course some of them have siblings. And you know what? Siblings look similar. You fucking scumbag.
Just looks like him, but it's a brother that has the same name. What?
In 1986, the shuttle Challenger exploded about 74 seconds after takeoff, killing all 7 astronauts inside. Or did it?
No. Right. Those two? No. Clearly not the same person. The mouth is entirely different. Look at it. The nose shape is different. Right? These two up here, their skin appears to be different colour. One has a chin twice as long. This one here, they maybe could be the same person, but also they could be fucking sisters. Those two, clearly not the same person. No, the way the teeth are set are different on this one. And different nose, different eyebrows, different head. I mean, what a fucking idiot. What a horrible, scummy piece of shit. Just checking. Just fact checking some of the names that are used. Right. So, this one on the here, Francis Richard Scobie. The claim he's still alive, running a company called Cows in Trees in Chicago. CEO of Cows in Trees. Reality, well, no, this isn't the same person. That there is Francis W. Scobie, a different man, alive, but born years before the astronaut and in another state. Just a name coincidence. Not Richard Scobie. Francis W. Scobie. And this is Francis Richard Scobie. Michael J. Smith. This guy here. The claim, he's a professor at the University of Wisconsin using his real name. Reality, the University of Wisconsin professor is Michael J. Smith. This guy here is Michael J. Smith. He is a different man, born in 1945. Same year as this guy. It's a common name. They're different people. NASA Smith died in the explosion. You can actually check this guy's family history online, and it's different to this person's. Ronald McNair. This one here. Mission specialist. The claim, he's alive playing jazz under the name Carl McNair. In reality, Carl McNair is Ronald's brother. Yeah, they look like they could be brothers. Not Ronald himself. Carl does motivational speaking about Ronald's life and the Challenger tragedy. This one here. Judith Resnick. The claim. She's alive as a Yale law professor named Judith Resnick. The Yale professor is a completely different Judith Resnick. Born in 1949. She never hid her identity. She's always been a lawyer and not an astronaut. Their skin color isn't even the fucking same. Like, in the slightest. And look at this woman's parting. Oh my god. And Christia McAuliffe. The claim, she's alive as a Syracuse law professor named Sharon A. McCloof. In reality, that's her sister. Not a lawyer. And her name wasn't Sharon, it was Krista, and her name is Sharon. So, yeah, every single one of those is a disgusting fucking lie. It's absolutely a horrific thing to say. I am so mad that he's sitting there saying this in front of his daughter.
Carl McNair. What are the odds?
I've always wondered about that. I was like, what if I had like quadruplets when I was older? Like I was like, what if I get quadruplets when I'm older and I name all of them Katie?
That'd be really weird.
It's like, Katie, time for dinner. They're like, coming.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you do that at the hospital, I don't think. What? Oh my god.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
And then they're like, Katie's at her friend's house. Which one? Katie 1, Katie 2, Katie 3, or Katie 4? I don't know. It's like, oh man.
I can imagine doing that with a middle name. I think it'd get really confusing quick, but yeah, then just have fun with it. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it'd be too bad because you would have like a last name too.
Yeah.
Like Adams and Adams and Adams and Adams, but like.
I guess it's true.
But if his
although
first name,
women tend to change their last name all the time, though, so that's something else. But the big important thing here with conspiracy facts is it's the bad guys
go check
who
your baby,
don't
Carl.
want people to believe in conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to be found out. So that's why they talk. Oh, only crazy people believe in that stuff. That way they can get away with it.
And that's probably why NASA tries to hide it up about the twins and pretend, oh yeah.
No! NASA didn't hide it. Oh my god, your dad has fucking brainwashed you.
That's normal. Everybody does that these days. It's like a trend. Look it up on TikTok, and then they show like this video, and there's like a bunch of kids say, "Oh yeah, my name's Billy. My name's Billy too. Billy." I don't know. Scientific proof. Believe it or not, in 2006, in the Journal of College Science Teaching, Dr. Jacqueline McLaughlin from Pennsylvania State University reprimanded both teachers and students, boldly claiming science never proves anything. She even went so far as to claim words like prove, correct, and true should be removed from our vocabulary completely and immediately. Dr. McLaughlin wasn't alone in the sentiment. Her views were shared by various professors at Haverford College, Forbes magazine, The Scientific American, and Psychology Today. Imagine trying to use that excuse in a court of law where people are supposed to be presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. Your Honor, sorry, science never proves anything, therefore I am innocent.
What a dumb thing to have your daughter read. Poor girl. You don't use science in a court of law. You use proof in a very different fashion. Proof in science is found with maths. That's how you prove your ideas. But science doesn't have the job of proving anything. That's not what science is for. Science is there to falsify things. And if we can't, then we take that as the best answer. You don't use science to prove things because we know that we might be wrong and there's actually more information to be found out about a thing. Not necessarily wrong, but not entirely correct or not completely accurate. So we don't say in science that you prove something like you do in a court of law. The definitions of proof in law and science are different. Hello, Dirty Ketchup. How you doing, my friends? How's Arwen doing these days?
Though the legal system is greatly imperfect, its entire functionality depends on the acknowledgement of scientific proof. With that,
Dirty Ketchup wants a wrench. That would be a super chat of at least $50 for you.
law rides on exactly how scientific proof is defined.
What do you think of that?
It's crazy that people think that science doesn't prove anything. Like, it sounds crazy. Just like, what's your proof? There is none.
Yeah, because you get proof in other ways. It's not crazy. There's no such thing as proof in science. This is just how it is. That's not the job of science. There is no such thing as scientific proof. One Over and Squared is obsessed with the Christian Nationalist Conference in Nashville. Except I'm debating about feminism. And, you know, as he brought it up.
That's right. Come out and meet and see Craig debate Rachel Wilson on if feminism is more good or bad for society at DebateCon 6 in Nashville, Tennessee this November 15th and 16th. Grab your tickets now at the link in the description box, as we're expecting this event may sell out. You don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets right now so you can meet Craig and see him debate live.
Do you think teachers who don't believe we should use words like correct and true should be grading papers?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that, like, they're grading a paper and they're like, okay.
Can't call that one correct.
Show your proof. We don't teach that at school these days. And they're like, oh, sorry. Do your test and I'll grade them. Grade them. Is there proof?
You don't use science to grade a paper. You use an answer key. You can compare it to the answers. It's not science.
That any of it is correct.
If you can't say words like correct and true, do you have any business saying something's wrong?
Or right?
Right? So proof goes both ways. There's both the right way and the wrong way. Right? You can't prove something wrong unless you know what is actually right. And so.
True. So proof plays a big part in almost anything.
It does. It does. So here we're going to get into those definitions of proof.
In general, proof has multiple.
This is actual child abuse. There's nothing more to say about it. Aldeban, yeah, I know that NN squared is Bessel Problems that is just a troll that loves me, actually. Every time that One Over and Squared or Bessel Problem, whatever they want to call themselves, comments in my chat, it means they want to touch my willy. So every time they comment, just let them know, oh, you fancy Craig, don't you? You want to touch his pee-pee.
Definitions, such as the act of testing, which should be a common practice in science. Dr. McLaughlin, however, was more concerned about establishing a thing as true or producing a belief in truth. In this, please keep in mind that acknowledging truths is how people learn. If truth is never acknowledged, then there's no learning that takes place. This is opposite of building on a strong foundation. It is rejecting all foundations everywhere and is choosing to be tossed in the wind of every passing fad and new idea.
It might be true, huh?
Yeah. The scientific definition of evidence,
Yeah, that's the thing. You can have evidence in science that points towards a conclusion. But we don't ever say that's the absolute proof. That's the absolute truth. That is 100% the answer. Unless we're talking about, is Kyle Adams a piece of shit? I scientifically proved that that is the case.
narrows things down. A demonstration of truth of a mathematical or logical statement based on axioms and theorems derived from those axioms. In this, it can be scientifically proven that dogs are mammals. This logical statement is based on the axioms of dogs, often having fur, giving live birth, and nourishing their young with milk from their mammary glands. Evidence, on the other hand...
Yes, Clive Wells, one of the smartest people here, it points out again that truth and provability are slightly different things, which is my point. You know? We know things that are true or false, but being able to prove them is a different thing. And science isn't what you use to do that anyway. Hey, guys, if you want some fun, just play Whack-A-Troll with 1 over and squared.
And can be considered proof if it is strong enough. But in general, it is less certain. It is a reason to believe something might be so, an indication or sign. The girl's head felt warm, which was evidence that she might have a fever. It is an observation that raises suspicion and warrants further investigation. At this stage, it isn't certain if the girl has a fever, but it makes one want to pull out a thermometer to find out for sure.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and just measuring someone's temperature with a thermometer isn't necessarily doing science, it's just taking a measurement. I mean, you can set it up as science, you know, but you're very much misinterpreting what science is in such a bad way that it's just confusing the issue. This entire chapter has been fucking nonsense.
Over here again?
I'm going to do 2 streams tomorrow. I'm going to do one at about 9:30 and go over the next part, and then we'll do our community stream afterwards.
Where I was talking about scientifically proven that dogs are mammals. If we didn't have proof, that's one of the big things about science. So science would not be established at all, really.
Yeah.
Proof is oh yeah, we are humans. No, maybe we're dogs, pigs, or birds, or maybe we're just dust with thoughts.
Very deep, darling, but yeah, we don't need to use science to prove that we're not humans. Or that we are. That is a self-evident truth. It's an axiom, right? I think, therefore I am. I'm the only species on Earth that can do that. I am human. We don't need to do science to prove that that's the case. Because that's not how science works. Dirty Ketchup says, strong language, Craig. How about this? Kyle Adams is a fucking cunt.
You can tell the difference between... You can tell if a dog is a mammal or a fish.
Yeah, and if we didn't have proof, everything would be so confusing. I would think... If I'm a fish or dust that can think, then maybe couches can think too, and maybe couches aren't actually made by people. Maybe you can grow them on trees because we have no evidence that people actually make them.
Did you see some political agendas that might be kind of in there for why people might want to toss proof out the window?
Because they're worried about their stuff, that it might not make sense, and they might be like, oh, we sort of don't have proof for this thing, so we're just going to pretend the proof doesn't exist. Okay, everybody, since you believe everything that I say, goldfish aren't actually golden, they're actually like silver. But, so you believe that, right? Okay. So, proof isn't real either, so.
Like,
the raise of hands, everyone's crowding and cheering, and yay, proof doesn't exist anymore.
I feel like there's a whole land of fruits and nuts that are going crazy for that kind of stuff.
Proof has always existed. Proof is a thing. Scientific proof is not.
Right? I'm sure you've heard a lot about that at school with the whole, am I really a boy? Maybe I'm a girl? And there's a lot of drama over that. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, this kind of stuff. It's interesting how much politics ends up getting put into our science textbooks.
Yeah, because they put so much like faith in NASA and the government that they're like, okay, we're giving you our money and we're believing whatever.
Right, we don't need, it's not faith in government and NASA. NASA go to space. There's no faith required for this. It's a thing that fucking happens and you can watch it. You have been hurt by your father. My darling, you have been abused by your dad mentally. To take a phrase from PhD Tony, you have had your intellect vandalized by your papa.
You say, because we know that the sun gives off heat, and we believe that, and we know that. So people are also living on the moon, and we believe that monkeys also go up there too.
Dirty Ketchup in the chat says, why are you so mad, Craig? Because we're watching child abuse happen in real time. You should all be fucking mad.
Yeah. So we use that word axiom again, and you'll notice it's even right there in the definition, the scientific definition of proof. You'll see the word axiom right there, and so it's kind of one of those things I'm like, huh, I never quite noticed that before.
I think that's one of like the Tesla things. Once they come out with Teslas, and you're like, oh yeah, Teslas are everywhere. Then you see them like 5 in each. One of like the Tesla things.
And so it's
right, a demonstration of truth on a mathematical or logical statement based on axioms and theorems derived from those axioms. So it doesn't require evidence. Whereas science, evidence is pretty fucking important. So that kind of tells you that proof is not something you get from science. Oh, I know, Eric, he's a fucking idiot.
Kind of one of those things I'm like, huh, I never quite noticed that before.
I think that's one of like the Tesla things. Once they come out with Teslas, and you're like, oh yeah, Teslas.
The axiom is one of those really basic, obvious things. I've got 5 fingers on my left hand. This is my right, this is my left. Yeah, 5 fingers on my left hand, right? That's an axiom. I was talking to someone about this recently. He's like, no, that's not true. I have 4 fingers and 1 thumb. I'm like,
I don't like when they say that. It's just like,
okay, but
a thumb is finger, like, though, right?
Science journals actually acknowledge your thumb as a finger. So exactly. Yeah, it can be very much classified as a finger. So.
Dirty Ketchup says, why would you watch actual child abuse on one of your streams? To expose it and to debunk it and show how wrong it is. And point out that this person should not be allowed to educate their child in any way, shape or form.
So that's
as long as they're not counting their toes.
Yeah,
I've got 10 fingers on each. I've got 10 fingers on my right.
Yeah.
And 10 fingers on my left.
I feel like at that point they're just trying to be argumentative, and they're not trying to find common ground with anyone. They're just trying to split hairs and find whatever little tiny thing they can to disagree with you.
To prove you're wrong, exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just kind of, you don't really want to waste all your days with those kind of people. It's kind of like an indicator. All right, let's move on.
Are there more pages?
I think the last page was my vocab recap, and that's it. So we don't need to go over that because, yeah, but I like this whole thing because those are the important words, and we kind of continually go back to those words all throughout the chapter, kind of like we did with axiom. We kept going back to that one.
Except it's not really on there. It's okay though.
Axiom is right there.
Oh,
so.
I was like looking for
A self-evident truth that requires no proof.
Wait, what's the difference between academic pitfall and just pitfall? Oh, okay, I get it now.
Okay, so the pitfall is...
well, yeah, but your dad didn't explain what any of those things are, so you won't have any idea, which is unfortunate, right? Your dad has mentally harmed you here. Why is mic over IP? Oh, right, because it's only the Drunk Debunk show that I've got as...
The actual thing, the tiger trap with the spikes in the bottom and stuff, that were really popular in the Vietnam War.
I think.
It's Pokemon. It's really popular in Pokemon. Ash Ketchum continually falls into pitfalls dug by Team Rocket. So, yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that show again. It's funny. It's on Netflix. We finally got Netflix.
Oh, really? It's on Netflix. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. We'll cover chapter 2 next week.
Okay.
This message is...
And we're going to cover that tomorrow because I don't think I can watch more Kyle today because that fucking pissed me off. Absolutely disgusting. What a piece of shit. Shouldn't be allowed to say those things about the Challenger disaster on YouTube. In fact, I highly encourage everyone to go and report that stream. Just go to Kyle Adams' YouTube channel. And it's chapter 1 of the Flat Earth Science textbook. Violent or repulsive content, yes. Mocked the Challenger disaster. That's not how you spell that, Craig. Yeah, what a absolutely horrific piece of shit. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the support and the super chats. It means the world. You've no idea how much the support means to me. You guys are my lifeblood, and I couldn't do this without your help. So thank you very much. If you want to help support the channel, you could always give a super chat. Just as the show's finishing, buy a membership, PayPal, FTFE, paypal.me/FTFE, or buy a membership for yourself or somebody else. I'll be back tomorrow for 2 streams. See you then. Until then, remember that stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth.